There's a fun trick for everyone. Hopefully you can hear me now. I had the old mute button down, didn't I? So as we were saying, as you missed the amazing intro I've just crafted, noob being a noob. Exactly, Elmer McD. It is a noob being a noob. What more do you expect from this channel? As I'm saying, I'm apologising if you hear a faint croakiness in my voice this evening. Unfortunately, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'm hoping that the dark cloud of illness is going to be blown away by some extreme and exciting racing this evening as we bring you race 2 of the Noob Gamers Championships live to your front room, to your mobile, to your flat screen TV, wherever you're watching this tonight. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting affair. If you joined us last time, it was a lot of fun. Mr. Salt currently leads the pack, closely followed by Evidence with Bob Humphrey in 3rd place. But this evening there's a whole host of points up for grabs. The top 10 places will receive at least a point. So in 1st place is 25 points, 2nd place is 18 points, 3rd place is 15 points, all the way down to 10th place with 1 point. So every single place matters as we're trying to get our champion at the end of race 4. Who's it going to be? There's only one way to find out, and that is to watch every single race live with us here on Twitch, and we're going to bring it straight to you. So to start our evening, what more do we want to do than bring in race director Jimmy H official. Good evening, Jimmy H. How are you?
Good evening. Yeah, all good, thank you. Excited for this evening's shenanigans.
Yes, we started on great footing. You'll be good to know, Jim. I know you're probably not watching at home, but we started the first 5 minutes of the stream with my mic on mute, so we've had an absolutely cracking start to the stream. Here's hoping that's all the technical issues out the way for this evening, hey?
That kind of sums up my day a little bit, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, I bet you're pretty buzzing for race 2 then. Everyone's joined us in the lobby. They're practicing right now, which will bring you soon in a minute. But what are your feelings on race 2 this evening?
Yeah, good. We've had a few people drop out this evening. A couple of people couldn't make it. One was injured. Were a few technical issues. So we've got less drivers this evening than we had last week.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing because you only score points when you're 10 or above, and there's 13 of us racing. So there will be, even those at the back, there'll be a good battle for points.
Yeah.
Which will make for a better race, I think. I'm slow and not very good at this track, so I'll be somewhere near the back, but I'm hoping just to maybe squeeze a couple of points out of the lemon tonight.
Yeah, nice. I like your style. So obviously you've been involved in a lot of practicing during the week with a lot of the guys. Is there anyone you'd say that stands out to you from the practicing that you've seen who should be a dark horse this evening?
Well, Mr. Salt was putting in some pretty good times yesterday when we were driving around. So my eyes are on him a little bit. I mean, Bob's just put in a good time of 1:23 on practice. So again, I think he's probably one to look out for.
Good. Well, good to know who the challenges are this evening. We'll leave you to it and get you back into the practice, and we'll start bringing the practice to you guys live at home. So thank you for your time, Jimmy.
Cheers.
So that was Jimmy H, the race director. Obviously, we've got the Megatron screen behind us, provided by an unknown company, because, you know, they've not put their hand in their pocket yet. So we can hopefully convince them. We'll start giving them a little bit of a shout on the stream. But for now, as you can see, we've got the game raring to go behind us. And they're in the middle of some practice, so we'll bring in a cheeky bit of game sound for you so you can hear the roars of the engine as the people go around the track. We're on board with Mr. Salt at the moment, but you know, it's just practice at the moment, so really we're not that interested in what happens right now. So what we're going to do for you, first, let's bring in the race leader, Mr. Salt. So let's see if we can drag him into the chat now. Mr. Salt, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good. So as I've just been explaining to the people at home, you're currently number 1
I am.
in the championships. What are your feelings going into race 2 this evening?
Very much the same as last week. From a strategy perspective, not the slowest. Well, certainly not the slowest, but not the quickest guy. and just going for consistency again.
Okay, nice. So just nice and steady, keeping it calm, trying to stay on the track as much as possible.
Exactly.
So we can see you're going around the track at the moment. As you said, nice and steady. How's the track different this week to what we experienced last time around?
I think it's it's vastly different. This one's tight. There's tons of corners. There's not really many straights. I think it's going to be. We were expecting carnage last week. We didn't get it so much, but I really think it's going to be that this week. Do expect chaos. The track's very different.
Good. Well,
and it's also in the night.
That's what we like to hear. Well, we'll leave you to crack on with a bit of practice, but thanks for a little chat.
Thank you.
Obviously, good luck with the race.
Thank you, and thanks for watching.
No worries. Thank you. So hopefully I've dropped him back in the right channel, but that was Mr. Salt. We're on board with him right now. He is the race leader of the entire championship. But let's see who's joined us tonight. So we've got Wheels McGee. Early Doors has given us a cheeky subscribe 5 months in a row to the channel. Big up Wheels McGee, everyone in the chat. Really appreciate the support from you this evening. Alma McD, correct, I was a noob at the start, being a total noob, but thank you for joining us this evening. We got Rolfie87, the biggest Humphrey fan in the universe. He's back with us, ready to see if his boys can do the job. And we've got Odyssey. Unfortunately, Odyssey is in the chat. He's watching the stream tonight, but he's at home. He's taken a tumble or something at work. I don't know what's happened. Something's happened at work, and he's injured himself, which has left him unable to race this evening. But he's joined us live to come and watch, see how his competitors do this evening in his absence. So let's jump on board with Bob Humphrey. He's currently put down the fastest lap of this evening's race. So as we can see, he's topping the practice leaderboard with a 1 minute 23 seconds, just ahead of Evidence, who last week came in second place. Oh, good job is practice. That's all I'm going to say. We've seen an early spin for Bob Humphrey there. Now, he was the one, I think the Humphreys were moaning in the week that all we saw from them was crashes. But every time we seem to point the camera in their direction, look what happens. Spin off and away you go. So hopefully it's not a sign of things to come for the Humphreys. So let's see what we've got from Evidence this evening in the bright green car. He's just coming down the opening straight of the track. And let's see what he can pull out for us into the first corner here. So it's just over 8 minutes remaining of practice. Just giving the guys another feel for the track. I know a lot of them have been practicing during the week, getting together, talking tips, talking strategy. But now the pressure's on. Now they've got 8 minutes left to just have that final go around the track, get used to what they're going to be playing with this evening before qualifying hits in. So hopefully they can get some good mileage under their belts before the big race. But Evidence is looking nice and steady here into the corners. I think he's even catching the person in front. But I'd say he's definitely one of the dark horses of the championship. Second place. He's nice and quiet when everyone's in the lobbies, early doors. Not one to chuck the banter around. But when it comes to racing, he's focused, he's determined, and he's definitely gunning for the championship. So we're hopefully going to see a lot from him this evening. But everyone's favourite racer, mainly because he's absolutely useless 99% of the time, but he loves it anyway, is our man Glassy76. Glassy,
yo,
how are you this evening, my friend?
I'm alright, thank you, my mate. I'm just checking, is my mic on?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and proud.
That's good. I wouldn't want to talk for 5 minutes with my mic off, that's all.
See, as we said, this is why he's one of our favourite competitors, always bringing the laughter to the stream. He's always got the bants. Unfortunately, he can't back it up with any racing ability, but we like him none the same. But Glassy, currently in 11th place, pretty standard for you in terms of racing and practice. But I sense you've got an excitement about this evening's race from talking to you earlier.
Yeah, well, I'm running with a full tank of petrol. I'm just going around getting a feel of it. It's practice after all. I'm not going to show my hand straight away. I'm going to lighten the load a little bit.
Yep.
I've joined the 25 club. I've been regularly putting in 26s, 126s,
yep.
Which could be there if I play it safe. If I stay on the track, who knows?
Who knows? So have you got any particular aims in mind for where you want to finish up this evening?
Not really. It's a little bit more like, again, just be steady. So I got someone on the inside and let him go, and somebody else. I just want to be steady again. I've been learning a lot from the lads who've been racing for quite some time now. Yep. So just enjoying it, piecing it together.
Nice.
Fuck me. Sorry.
just off the track, just casual. I like it.
It's that Bob is putting me off. Who's flashing me now? But yeah, I'm not going to swear. Don't worry, I'm not going to C-bomb like Leroy.
Yeah, no
Keep
worries.
it clean.
Keep it clean, indeed. Keep it clean. Well, thank you for joining us during practice. We'll leave you to it. But
Thanks.
we wanted to come and say hello to our man.
Yeah, drop in a little bit later.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I'm not too sure if they're on the stream right now, but there's Adam and Tyler have both come out the closet this week.
Yep.
So I just wanted to say congratulations. I know it's been a tough few months for them both working together. There's a lot of friction between the both of them, but they've sorted it out, and I'm very happy for them if they're watching. So big up to those brothers.
Well, there we go. There's a little shout out for the boys. If you are watching, let us know. There's a little shout out from you from Glassy, but we'll leave him to his practice. Enjoy, Glassy.
Laters.
So there we go. That was Glassy 76. Now we're going to jump into Team CRL this evening. I think he's riding solo at the moment, but we'll go and jump in with him and see how he's doing this evening. Evidence, good evening. How are you?
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to jump on board with you now. We've been discussing your second place finish in the last race. Is that the sort of place you're looking for finishing this evening, or are you looking to go one better this time around?
I think this race I will have a nice fight with Bob because we had a similar pace. So as you can see, I think we were testing for race with all the fuel for the race, and we are really close in time. So
Nice.
we are going to see how it goes.
Nice. So high hopes for another podium finish this evening then.
Yeah, I hope so.
Good.
Let's
Good.
see what happens.
I was going to say, we've been watching. You've been very steady so far. As you said, you have got a bit of a battle with Bob. Is there anyone else you'd pick out as being a particular competitor for you this evening?
I don't know. I just saw Bob really close to me, even practicing during all the week. Now in this practice session, he was really close, and I don't know about the others. Rob will be close for sure. He will be fighting for the podium for sure.
Yeah.
He
Cool.
has a clean race. He will be in front for sure.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us. We thought we'd come and check in with you just to see how the race is going to shape up for you. But we'll leave you to carry on practicing. But good luck for the race.
Thanks.
So there we go. Second place Evidence. He's in second place in the championship so far, hoping for another podium finish this evening. But there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, this evening about Bob Hump 3. He's currently top of the practice leaderboard. So we're going to see if we can jump into the whole team.
There it is. As you said it.
Team
As
Double
I said
Hump.
There he is.
Here they all are this evening. How are the boys and girls this evening?
Very well, thanks.
I don't know. Bob the girl's all right.
Oh, hello.
So all we've been hearing from everyone else, Bob, is Bob's up there. Bob's first. We're going to be racing hard with Bob. So I think everyone's called you out as a bit of a race leader this evening. Does that put extra pressure on your shoulders?
Kind of like it.
Yeah?
It's probably a lap you want to go on board with, to be honest. I'm sort of flying along here.
Well,
Oh, I've got to slow down. Oh, I'll give up that.
Yeah, that's what you get for bragging.
there we go, yeah. But yeah, we've just had a quick chat with Evidence. He's basically just said he's gunning for a podium place, but he thinks you're his main competitor this evening. Would you agree with
I like
that?
to hear.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm been alright around this track. It's one of my favourites, so
Okay.
yeah.
So hopefully we can bring some top podium racing to the table.
Yeah, we need to keep Double Hump up there in the championship, so...
That's very true. And obviously we'll jump on with Trevor quickly. Trevor, last time around it was on the track, off the track, on the track, off the track.
Yeah.
However, despite
Interesting race.
the crashes that you experienced or the spins, you actually still finished in a very respectable position. So do you think if you can add a bit more consistency to your racing this evening, you could find yourself up on the podium places as well?
Well, it was Team Orders that did it last week, but I had to let Bob through.
Yeah, that really ruined your race, that.
It did. I've just hit Jimmy, or Jimmy's just hit me.
Yeah, I think he had a bit of a spin there.
But yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be difficult to be consistent on this track, and it's going to be difficult to keep putting in decent laps.
Yeah.
Because there's just not the room that we had at Hockenheim. At Hockenheim there's plenty of room for making mistakes and overtaking, but there's just not that room here. So it could be a different race altogether, but we'll see.
Yeah, we've certainly seen the margin for error this evening is a lot tighter on this track.
Absolutely.
And it's also quite hard for people to catch up as well once you do start flagging behind, isn't it? Unless they make mistakes in front of you.
Yeah, it's going to be about staying on the black stuff.
Exactly. And finally, the third member of the posse, Crichton Alpha, involved of all sorts of fun last time around. What's your hopes for the race this evening?
Top 10, hopefully, if I can keep it on the black stuff like Church just said, then top 10 I think is a good shout for me.
Nice, because you're currently in 6th place.
Yeah.
If it was offered to you now, is that a place you would take?
I think so, yeah. I think that's a good spot for me, that would be.
Obviously,
Behind Trev, I'd be quite happy.
That's very true, yeah, only one place
You'd be very
behind him.
proud of you, Matt, you did that.
Cheers, buddy.
There's too much love in this team, too much love. But at least you're very supportive of each other, so that's good. So thank you for having a quick chat with us this evening while you're practicing around. There's obviously just about to start your qualifying, so we'll leave you to it. But good luck for the race ahead.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
So we'll leave those boys to it quickly. And finally, we're going to have a little quick chat with the boys of Hot Wheels 10, if they'll allow us to. The Mad Knife.
Murray.
How are you this evening, my friend?
I'm all right, thank you, mate. I'm a bit slow tonight.
A bit
Seem
slow.
to get above 10th in the practice.
Well, we're all hoping for another miraculous, ending like we saw last time around, from 9th to 6th in one fell swoop.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you were offered 10th place right now, would you take it, or you really want to push higher up today?
I don't know. The lap times sort of from 7th to 11th similar.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if I could stay in the top 10, but
Okay.
I don't know. Finishing will be an achievement, I think.
Fair play. I think
Everyone's finding it a bit slippy, and especially down the back end of the grid, we're liable to make some mistakes.
exactly. That's what a lot of people are saying. Well, qualifying's just about to start, so we'll leave you boys to it. But good luck for the qualifying and race ahead.
Cheers, dude.
So there we have it. There's a few of the racers who are going to be competing this evening in the Noob Gamers Championships, Race 2. We're just about to start qualifying. It looks like Rob 3 is going to be first out of the blocks. Oh no, we're going to have someone else out. Let's see who we got. So we got Boban. Boban is first out on the track this evening. We'll stay on board with him and see if he can put down a decent lap time to start with. Thank you, Glassy. It is a lovely little t-shirt I'm wearing this morning, just for you, that. Just for you. But yeah, thank you for everyone at home joining us this evening for Race 2 of the Noob Gamers Championships. I'm excited, you should be excited. This track promises to give us lots of thrills and spills throughout the whole session, and hopefully you can join us for the entirety of qualifying and then the race, where we can see where the boys will finish. So we're around 15 minutes now we've got of qualifying. This is an opportunity for the racers to put down their fastest lap, get themselves some precious podium spots if they can, because as a lot of racers said, the traffic's going to be hard to contend with this evening. Overtaking's more difficult than we saw before. The margin for error is a lot slimmer. So if you can get yourself to the top of the grid when it comes to qualifying, it should, in theory, give you a little bit of breathing space amongst all the hustle and bustle and allow you to put down some solid lap times. So the next 15-minute slot that these boys have got to try and qualify could almost decide the race that we've got in front of us this evening. So we're going to stay on board for the whole of qualifying, bring it to you live, and we'll see who's top of the pack come the end of the race. But yeah, thanks again for joining at home. If there's anyone in particular you're here to see, drop their name in the chat. We'll jump on board with them and see how they go on. But we can only wonder who's going to put the fastest time down in this opening qualifying session for Race 2. So if you've got any predictions from what you might have seen last time, or what you've heard from the racers this evening, drop us a little chat message. Tell us who you're rooting for this evening, or who you think is going to be the dark horse of the race, and we'll give them a little watch this evening for you. But for now, we'll just we'll flick around the track. Obviously, the big hope this evening, Bob Hump 3, he's been bigged up by a lot of the competitors this evening. Lots of people thinking he's going to be top of the pack. People are letting him pass now as he's trying to put down a decent lap to start with. So we'll just stay on board with him right now, and we'll see how we go. Thank you for joining us this evening, T-Mac92. He's bigging up his boy Salty. Let's see how he's faring this evening. Here he is in his lovely blue and orange car this evening. No one's put down a decent lap just yet, but you know, there's still 12 minutes to go. I'm sure people will start clocking up some time shortly, and we'll see how the pecking order starts to unfold as we go through. But yeah, we're here, we're live. No technical difficulties this week, unlike the week we had before where it was all over the place, qualifying was random. We're on board properly with everyone this evening, giving them the actual opportunity to qualify for the race ahead, which is going to be all important on a track like this in the dark. So we can see the first time has been posted this evening, and quite incredible 1:22 by Bob Humphrey 3. The man people have been praising, who should be the top of the pack this evening, has got under the 1:23 mark for his first hop lap of qualifying, which is an incredible achievement. Let's see what everyone else can put down. We've got Mr. Salt currently in second place with a 1:23.7. We've got Rob 3 with a 1:23.9. We've got Boban with a 1:24, and we've got Sin with a 1:25. So we've got the first few places have been decided this evening. The top 5 have set out the stall to see if anyone can get under their times. But we've got to say that time from Bob Humphrey at 1:22.5 is going to be hard to beat during this session. You know, just over 10 minutes remaining, and you know, I would be very surprised if anyone can get under that time. So I think if you finish above Bob Humphrey this evening, you would have done very, very well for yourself. As we said, he's going for a 1:21.6, which would be an incredible time to put down during qualifying, which would put him at a decent race pace, ready for the race ahead. So let's see. We do have a spin out as ever. Every time we're on board with him, we do get a spin from him. So he's just going to let a few people pass now. We have had another few times that have been posted. Iliam's jumped into 6th place with a 1:25. We got Mad Knife in with a 1:27. Took's coming up the rear at the moment with a 1:35, but I'm sure once he gets his grips on the track, and he'll be going strong there. That is his aim. He is liable for it. Yes, as we know from last time out, Bob Hump is definitely liable for a spin. But even at 1:22, if he keeps a 1:22.5, I think, you know, in theory, that should bring him home first place based on the times that we've seen this evening. But obviously, he is going to try and beat that as much as he can. So everyone's placed their first lap time now. So we've got our first opening look at the track. Now, surprisingly, down in 12th place, we've got Evidence with a 1:45. So we must have seen some build up on the track and not enough room for him to get through to post that all important first lap time. He's wanting to be up there on the podium places this evening, either in a first or second or third, so surely he'll be disappointed with that first lap, but he must have let some other competitors through and hoping they're going to repay the favour to him later, so he can post the tap. Still just under 10 minutes remaining, so he's got plenty of time left to hopefully put some decent lap times down. As you said, Rolfie, Evidence will surely be up there. It will be a massive surprise to see him actually end the session in 12th place, but who knows, qualifying can throw up some amazing different things. It is a really tight track tonight, as you can see from the pictures behind us. Every now and again people are having to pull over, let people through, so who knows, he might just get caught up in all the traffic, but we will just jump on board them now and see how he's, so as we can see already, there's already 2 people in front of him, but I think he's coming into the last corner now, so let's see what lap time this places him under as he comes down the final straight. Let's see where this puts him on the leaderboard. There we go, straight up to 5th place, 1:24. He'd be a lot happier with that going into the race, because in 5th place he's closer to the first few places, so even if he was to finish there, it gives him the opportunity to boost up there this evening. So hopefully, you know, he'll be a lot happier with what he can see this evening. Oddie's asking, is there no HUD? So, you know, you want the speedo, is that what people are saying? Do you really need to see the speedo for a race? But there it is, just for you want to see, because that's the sort of power I can control on this channel. Something like that anyway. So Iliam actually has made a jump up into 4th place, as you can see now. He's actually gunning we've got a little bit of a slide for Evidence, but he's managed to hold it just on the straight, and he's obviously pushing really hard to try and get himself into those positions. So we are just going to stay on board with him now, because he did talk himself up as being in the podium positions to start with. So let's see if he can get up there where he thinks he deserves to be. Obviously coming around the last few corners now. He's gone through all the tightest corners, but it's this last corner which can certainly throw people off. So here we go, tight into this last corner. Oh, it's probably not the sort of pace he needed to go around that last corner, but let's see what time he manages to post here. Straight up into second place with the 1:23, and as we saw, there were a couple of mistakes in there as well. So, you know, if he can cut those little errors out of his driving, who knows, he could be a real challenger to Bob Humphrey in first place there. You know, we saw the slide, we saw that last corner not quite taken as cleanly as he needed to be, but still romping straight in there in second place. So as people have been saying on the chat, you know, he's certainly got a very good opportunity to snatch a very decent podium place this evening. Let's see how the battle for third place is hotting up. There's only 200ths of a second behind people at the moment, so we're going to jump on board with Rob. He's sporting the similar car to Evidence as he comes through the final last few corners. And let's just see if he can apply a bit more pressure to Mr. Salt, who's currently rocking third place, our race championship leader in third place. And let's see, that's a decent last corner here. Let's see if he can put the pace in through the last straight and see if he can make any gains. No gains there from Rob, so still in fourth place. Mr. Salt breathed a sigh of relief, he keeps his third place slot, but even Mr. Salt is only a few hundredths of a second behind Evidence, who sits quite pretty in second place at the moment. So there's still just over 5 minutes left. People have still got the opportunity to get a few laps in here, and hopefully we can see a few of the places toppling around as we continue through the qualifying session. 2 and 1 for quality, drop it down, Rob. Yes, there's been some unbelievable times posted this evening, and we were sort of hoping Rob might push Mr. Salt there just a little bit, but he wasn't able to do so. A little bit hairy around that corner there, but he's kept it quite nicely. Again, we're going into the corkscrew, as some people have called it this evening. This is going to be one of the corners during the race that is going to cause a lot of cause for concern when it starts getting bunched up. It's a nasty right to left corner that is surely going to give people a bit of a challenge, especially if they got cars of a varying pace around them this evening. But again, into the last corner for Rob 3 here. Let's see if he can put a little bit of pressure on Mr. Salt. Decent last corner here. Let's see what happens when he goes over the line. Can he make any extra time up? No better, I'm afraid, no better. As we've given a little shout out earlier to Ilium, sporting the fantastic rainbow coloured car, or not really rainbow, just a bit wacky. Now in the last race we had some massive problems with the timer throughout the competition, which sat him in last place for the entirety of the race, but actually for the majority of the race he was in the top 5, in and around 2nd, 3rd, 4th place. So we did him a massive injustice last time around, because simply the game was showing that he was in last place when he actually wasn't. So we called him out as a back marker all throughout the evening's activities, whereas actually he was up there as one of the front runners, and it was only the last corner where he got taken out, where he actually dropped down the places. So again, 5th place currently for William, a little bit slow on the last corner there, but hopefully he gets a much cleaner and better shout out from yours truly this evening for his talents, because, you know, in actual fact he was pushing 2nd and 3rd place for the majority of the race last time. We just didn't notice it. As Rolfie quite rightly pointed out, we were calling blue flags all over the place. We were yelling at the screen for him to move over and let the faster racers through, whereas actually he was one of the faster racers on the track. So, you know, unfortunately for him, he didn't get the credit he deserved. Hopefully he can have a little watch of the stream back and you know, and understand that I've made my apology to him, because, you know, I know he was pretty disappointed not to get the credit he deserved. But hopefully this evening we'll see his true colours, and he'll push for those places at the top. So once again, thank you for joining us this evening. If you've not joined us for this competition before and you like what you see, feel free to drop us a follow, drop us a sub, so you can keep up to date with when we're going live. Every Thursday night we're bringing you the Noob Gamers Racing Championships, and we've just been talking to another group of racers with similar people in both championships, and we're going to be bringing you a brand new race on Sunday. So Sunday nights, same time, same place, with a whole bunch of new races, different tracks, different cars. Obviously, we can bring you more details later on in the week about how that's going to transpire. But twice a week now, you can join us live on our Twitch channel for some high-intensity racing, with all the details about Sunday's race coming in the next few days. But at the moment, we're on board for race 2 of the Noob Gamers Championships, and we're hoping to see some enthralling racing this evening. So if you are joining us this evening and you've come to see someone special, come to see a loved one, come to see a friend, whatever it is, drop their name in the channel. We can jump on board, watch them race, and we'll see where we go. Interview with Ilium. Let's see if we can drag him in quite now and have a little chat with him. Ilium, good evening, my friend. How are you?
Hello. How's it going?
Good. So I've just made my apologies to you on the channel.
I appreciate that.
I've made apologies to the world to let them know that last time it wasn't your fault. And you know,
well, and also I wasn't last, yeah.
and you weren't last, yeah. So
now, what position does it say I'm in now?
you're currently in 5th position.
Cool. Okay.
So the
let's hope it
timings,
works in
the
race.
timings are working. We've got some apologies in the chat for you this evening. People who are calling you out for a blue flag last week as well.
It was filth, but
yeah.
it's understandable.
So we've made it known. We've made it known that it wasn't your fault.
That it was pretty funny, I have to admit.
Yeah, funny to watch back.
Yeah.
But fifth
Yeah.
place, happy with that?
I'm ecstatic with that.
Yeah.
I really did not expect to be up there.
Okay.
I don't think I'll stay there in the race, but I'm happy to start there.
Yeah, as Odyssey's just pointed out, not 23 hours behind this time.
Yeah, I mean, all I would say is that was probably a clue that something was wrong, rather than me somehow going back in time a day.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, but
One
you know,
lap.
as we
But sure.
as we talked about last week, when you're doing live TV, don't work with children, don't work with animals, and don't work with Project Cars 2.
No,
that's
that is what we've learned about
that's what
all
we've
of this.
learned.
Yeah, I just want to know. Actually, I can't see you at the moment. What, did you rock the suit tonight in the end?
No, obviously, you know, you've given the
Ah.
game away a bit there. Well, I thought we
Ah.
decided we're going to wait till the final race of the championship to put on the full tuxedo.
Well,
so
I mean,
we-
I haven't really given the game away. I just said, are you wearing a suit?
Yeah, no,
That's it.
I'm not wearing a suit this evening, just rocking a
Okay.
simple tee. But, you know, later on, you might
Yeah.
get to see something a bit smarter for future races.
Oh my days!
Who
that's so
knows?
exciting. What I'd say this time, if you want to make it up to me,
Yeah.
watch the start. I normally, weirdly, have good starts,
Okay.
and make a few little overtakes. I'll quickly go backwards.
Yeah.
But you might have some entertainment on corner 1 at least.
Okay, nice. Well, yeah, we're just about to start the race now, so we'll stay
Yeah.
on board with you for the first corner. And
Probably,
we'll see
yeah,
how we go.
we
But
can do.
we'll chuck you back into your team channel so you can liaise with everyone else.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Have a lovely race.
But thank you for joining us this evening, and good luck for the
Cheers.
race ahead.
Thanks. Bye.
So there we go. Ilium has joined us. We gave him a lot of stick last week, but there we have it. The apology's been made. But looking at the standings, as Rolfie's pointed out, Bob could not hold on to first place. Evidence nearly clocking under the 122 mark. So close. Has taken first spot. Fair play to the lad. That's all we can say. He's got himself first on the podium. He said he was going to be a challenger this evening. So there we've got confirmation of the places. So let's go down. So in last place, unfortunately, Jimmy H. Official. We've got Took in 12th. We've got Glassy in 11th. We've got Sin in 10th. We've got Mad Knife in 9th. Well, that's quite hard to say, actually. Mad Knife in 9th. Crichton Alpha in 8th. Art Boban in 7th. 6th is Trevor Humphrey. 5th is Ilium. 4th is Mr. Salt. So he's actually been knocked out by Rob 3 into the podium positions. So Rob 3 is in 3rd place. Bob Humphrey unfortunately couldn't hold on to that first place position and finds himself in 2nd place, with Evidence taking top spot this evening from the qualifying, and will start the race in pole position for race 2 of the Noob Gamers Championships. Lots of good chat going on the race. So what we did promise was we're going to stick on board with Ilium to start with, you know, just to complete the apology we owe to him. Plus, in 5th place, it gives us the opportunities to see the top 4 racers and how they fare around the first few corners. So the race clock has started. Engines are warming up and getting ready. We're excited. You should be excited at home, because here we go for race 2 of the Noob Gamers Championships, live on Twitch. Double green Lambo. I like it at the top there. It's looking sexy. Let's pop trackside. See, I don't like the trackside camera. You can't really see enough. We'll pop the speedo on there for Odyssey straight away. We've got the timings on board. We'll pop on chase cam. We're just waiting for someone to press the go button for the race to start. We'll take a quick swig of drink as we prepare for race 2. Thank you for joining us, Sophie Humps, the winner of last week's porridge, which we haven't discussed yet. We have got some porridge to give away to one of you lucky people at home. So if you join us, if you put something exciting and thoughtful in the chat, you might win it this evening. But thank you for joining us this evening. Unfortunately, the Humphreys haven't quite managed to grab any of the first place slots, but they're certainly up there. We've got Bob in second. And here we go for the race. You've joined us at a fantastic time. 25 minutes on the clock. Engines are starting. Let's see what we've got for corner 1 of race 2. Oh, had to have a little manoeuvre there. Got a really good start there, Ilium, but couldn't make the most of it because of the traffic in front of him. Into corner 1, he's pulled up to 4th place. He's got the inside lane on a few of them. Can he sustain that challenge into the first corner? He can. He's got himself up to 3rd place from 5th straight away. Bob Humphreys made a really good start there in 1st place, with Rob 3 in 2nd. Evidence dropped down to 4th, but we've got a nice little pack to start with. So we'll jump on board with Evidence so we can see all 4 cars here at the moment. Evidence nearly losing it there on one of the starting corners, losing a bit of time on Ilium in 3rd place. But Bob leading the pack with Rob in 3rd and Ilium in 4th to start us, to start us in the race. So we can see the gap has opening. As you can see with the track, we've got a lot of humps, a lot of bumps. So we're going to jump on board with Ilium just so we can see how Bob fares around these first few corners. We might even need to jump on board with Rob because of the verticality we've got. Decent corner from them both there as they challenge into the final few corners of the lap. The lap times this evening are just over 1 minute. 1 minute 20. Oh, and Bob has lost it. He's lost it on one of the last few corners and given up first slot really early in the race to Rob 3, who jumped straight into the 1st place position. Ilium's still doing well down in 2nd place. Evidence just behind him in 3rd. But Bob's managed to get himself back on the track in 4th position. But early doors, he's lost himself. As he said in the chat, always the same. That's just how it happens, I'm afraid. So Rob 3 gets the opportunity to open up a lead out in 1st place. Evidence is pushing really hard to Ilium, who's currently in 2nd place. Evidence, we know from talking to him, he's making a really solid move there on Ilium to snap up 2nd place. Gets the inside line. Little nudge there from Ilium, a little bit naughty, but he gets away with it. Doesn't send that Evidence off the track at all. So Evidence cool and calm into 2nd place and will be driving Rob 3 hard now he's got some open road in front of him. So Ilium just behind him there. Bob's again going to have a little challenge on 3rd place here. So we've got a nice little pack for the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place slots. Bob Hump's trying to take an inside line. He decides against it and just stays behind Ilium, waiting and biding his time when he's going to make his move. Let's see if he can make a move down the corkscrew. It's a very risky manoeuvre if he's going, but he's certainly moving around the track, trying to line himself up for a move. We're just wondering when it's going to come, but he has lost a little bit of time there on the corkscrew corner, into the last few corners of the lap now. So we'll stay on board with Bob Humphrey and just see how this plays itself out. But some solid racing so far from the front 3, with unfortunately Bob giving up that early position in 1st place. But we know he's got the pace around the track from qualifying. We know he can put in the solid lap times. But is the traffic in front of him going to hold him up from reaching the higher reaches of the leaderboard this evening? There's only one way to find out, and that's to stay with us here live with New Gamers. So he's trying to go around the outside there, which was an interesting move. Trying not to do too much nudging and budging to Ilium in 3rd. So we're going to stay on board with this battle now, because I've just sensed something's going to happen. Don't know what it is, but I just sense something might happen between the two of them as they battle it out for one of the podium positions. So Bob definitely's got the pace there. He's going down the outside of the corner, getting himself in a perfect line for the inside for the next corner, and calmly sweeps across to snatch up 3rd place. Ilium's going to have a little bit of a fight back. He's got the inside line there, but it's not quite enough. As Bob continues to slowly drag himself away. Decent pace there again from Bob. Again, the gap opening up between them now. So as we can see, we're nearly up into the second a second gap between them. Let's see how they go between these two corners here. So Ilium just losing a little bit of pace on Bob here. We know Bob's got a really good pace around this track, and as we can see, he's pulling away, although he's just gone a little bit wide there, which opens the door back up for Ilium. But we'll see what happens. So again, down this home straight, I think Bob might start pulling away now. So as we can see from the times in the middle, he's opened up an over a 1 second gap now with Crichton just behind, actually making a little bit of a gain with Mr. Salt down in 6th place, again pushing hard to try and get himself back up the track. So we'll stay on board with Mr. Salt into these next few corners, because as we can see, the gap is starting to close between him and Crichton in 5th, and we'll see if he's got some pace. So he's the race championship leader, currently in 6th place, but we know he's got high hopes to get himself further up the pit positions this evening, but we'll see how he fares. So thank you for joining us this evening. You've joined us live for the race 2 of the Noob Gamers Championships, and we're on board with Mr. Salt. I mean, if we jump quickly behind, as we can see, there's a decent gap further down the track now. We've got Boban further down the track, we've got Trevor further down the pack, who's slowly making a little bit of gains, but as you can see, Mr. Salt's just gone a little bit wide there, but we will jump back on board him for these next few corners, because there's a nice little pack forming for the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th place, and it's only a matter of time before a little mistake creeps in, a little error creeps in, or someone just taking a corner particularly well to gain a little bit of time. We could see some position changes at any time, because the race leaders in 1st and 2nd have certainly opened up a decent gap, although we can see Evidence has found himself off. It wasn't Evidence who's found himself off the track, it must have been one of the back markers. Wow, I think, is it Took? It was Took who's found himself off the track already, and causing all sorts of problems up front, but I think Ilium got himself in a spot of bother there and has dropped himself down into 4th place. Mr. Salt still pushing hard and got himself up to 5th, still pushing Crichton there for 4th. So Ilium's obviously lost himself. Took's obviously got himself in the way there. So there may well be some arguments after the race as to what happened there. Ilium might not be happy with what transpired, but we'll jump back on board with Ilium. We can see the gap there between the two has opened up. So he's got some work to do to catch back up here. So we will just stay on board with this battle between Mr. Salt and Crichton, because they're slowly making gains. They're dragging each other through the race, pushing each other hard, which can often mean these little packs can catch up the people in front, because they do push that extra little bit harder around the corners to try and outdo each other, which can get them decent gains. Just like you see in marathon racing, the little packs pull themselves all together, which we have seen in these races before. So Mr. Salt, as we can see, really good gains there. Is he going to make a move into this corner? He's got the inside line. It's nice and smooth from Mr. Salt, a little bit of a nudge from Crichton, but it doesn't seem to matter. And Mr. Salt up into 4th place, although Alpha Crichton has lost it into that corner as well. So the nudge did actually make a large difference. It didn't matter to Mr. Salt, but Crichton has lost a couple of positions there, leaving a little bit of free rein for Mr. Salt. He's in a little bit of a league of his own at the moment, up in 4th place with no cars around him. We will jump on board with Bob Humphrey back in 3rd place and see how he's faring. He's got some decent gaps either side of him as well. 2 seconds behind 2nd place Evidence there, with a 5-second lead on 4th. So he's sitting pretty in 3rd at the moment. So we will jump on board with the race leadership. Evidence is pushing hard. We know in qualifying he's got the best lap under his belt. We can see this evening he's nearly half a second quicker for his fastest lap on Rob already, but Rob's had the luxury of being out in front with no traffic in front of him, so he's able just to put in some smooth, clean laps with a little bit of pressure now coming onto his shoulders as Evidence starts pushing him hard, because we know Evidence has got his eye on that first slot this evening. So we will stay on board with this race. We're just over 16 minutes left this race, so we're we've had a decent 9 or 10 minutes of the race already. And let's see if Evidence can push that a little bit harder. The distance between them is around a second. Rob's gone a little bit wide down the corner, might have got a bit of dirt on the tyres to slow him up. Let's see if Evidence can push him hard into the final corner and see if he can make some gains down this final straight. So the gap between them is just under a second, although we can see that clock just slowly lowering down and down and down, as Evidence just has a tiny little bit more pace down into that last lap. Into the last corner, should I say. Evidence didn't quite manage to get the inside line he was looking for there, but still, he's gained some decent time, down to less than half a second between them now. So I think it's only a matter of time before Evidence makes his move to try and snap up first spot. So we will stay on board with this and see if Evidence can continue to push hard and take that space from Rob 3. You know, the gap between them is closing by the second. So thank you for joining us in the chat. As you can see, Evidence is going to make a move, both on a little bit wide. So some really tight, intense racing from them both here. Oh, Evidence has pulled off a little bit there. I'm not sure quite what happened there. We did see in the last race there were a few straight line problems from a couple of the cars. So he's just giving up the Ghost a little bit, and the time that Rob's managed to pull out has gone a little bit more. But let's see if Evidence can catch him here. Okay. So still half a second, but I want to work really hard and try and bring you some other people this evening. So we're going to jump on board with Bob Humphrey, who's pushing for 3rd place. The gap between these two, as you can see here, is really, really close. So again, they've got less than half a second between them as well. Evidence, as you can see on the timers there, is really pushing hard. So we've got potential position changes all over the shop. So we're going to try and keep you on board with at least one of them. We are going to need to jump back on board with Evidence just quickly, because that timing is down to less than 300ths of a second. We could see a move here from Evidence. He goes on the inside, nudges Rob 3 out the way, and manages to snap up first place. So we've jumped on board at the exact right time to see Evidence pass. Now he's got the open road in front of him, and can he start pulling away from Rob 3 to cement 1st place position? We will just stay on board really for a tiny little bit of time as Rob 3, so let's see if he can make a battle back. But it looks like Evidence has got the pace. We can see the time between them opening up all the time. Although Rob 3, again, he's lost it on the track, so he's given himself a lot of work to do. So let's jump on board with Bob Hump, who should have the opportunity to pass here. Mr. Salt, I imagine, is just behind them. So Rob 3's error there, after all that concentration he's put in to keep himself in 1st place, he's lost his concentration and gone off the track, which gives the opportunity to Bob in 3rd and Mr. Salt in 4th to push these guys hard. Let's jump on board with Bob quickly, because as we can see, he's right up behind him here, going into the 1st corner of the race. And let's see if he can get himself up to 2nd place in the race. He's taken an outside line. He's going to try and sweep back on the inside. As we predicted there, he can't quite get the pace on there to get the overtake, but nearly a really solid manoeuvre there from Bob 3. Let's see into the next few corners if he can make a similar move. Oh no, Rob 3's lost it again. Rob 3 has lost it again. The pressure from Bob Humphrey 3 has told, but Mr. Salt's also lost it again. So Bob 3 breathes a massive sigh of relief. As we can see from the timings in the middle, he's opened up a really healthy 7 seconds on Mr. Salt in 3rd, who finds himself well off the top 2 leaders in the race. So we're going to jump back on board with Iliam. As we can see, there's a little gap there, just a couple of seconds in between them. But up behind him, Art Boban. Not seen a lot from him this evening, but he finds himself in a decent spot in 5th place, pushing for the top few places. Let's see if he can push Iliam a little bit. The gap between them is just under a second at the moment. And let's see if he can make any dent in that to try and catch Iliam up in 4th. So into that corner there, we can see the timings drop down a little bit. We're down to nearly half a second between them, which means Boban's obviously just bettered him slightly into those corners. As we take this right-hand bend now, going into the final corner of the race, let's see what Boban can pull out here, and can he catch Iliam into the final straight. Thank you for everyone for chatting this evening. If there's anything you do like on the stream, feel free to drop any clips that you want us to keep for later. We will try and produce race highlights as we did last time, but if there's anything you like, drop that little clip on there and we can get those queued up for future. So Iliam nearly losing the back end there, but Art Boban staying nice and hot on his tail. The gap is around 500ths of a second as well, so Iliam's got all the pressure on his shoulders with Art Boban pushing him hard here. Just over 11 minutes less of the race. There's still plenty of time for positions to change throughout the race. So the battle between these two is certainly heating up. They are on a very, very similar pace to each other here. It's only going to take one mistake from either one of them for them to switch positions. But both of them at the moment keeping it nice and steady on the track. Yes, as we said, 13 did start, so we have actually lost someone this evening. I think someone might have retired from the race. I wonder who that is. And it looks like, looking down the track, we're down to just 12 races, and it's Rob 3 who's actually retired from the race. We've obviously missed that in the race feed as we were watching the race in front of us, but we know Rob 3 before the race was having some technical issues with the setup, so maybe they've got on top of him and has forced an early retire from the race. He's got to be disappointed with that, unfortunately, but you know, there's nothing the other races can do about it. So from their perspective, it gives them the opportunity to gain an extra place which they might not have otherwise got. So we're still on board the race of Art Boban. He tries to go down the outside and swing it into the inside, but he doesn't quite get the line he needs. As people have been saying on the chat, he was doing really, really well this evening. Rob 3 was in first place for the large portion of the opening parts of the race, but a few problems have kicked in, saw a few spins, and you know, we can only hope it's some technical issues that has caused him to pull out from the race rather than anything else, because you know that's something that's just slightly outside of his control. Again, thanks for all the comments on the chat this evening. The qualifying has made a big difference this week. Last week, because of the technical issues that we've had, the qualifying was just random. It just placed everyone in a random position, whereas this evening the qualifying gave people the opportunity to get themselves back up the packs, and as we can see, it's made a big difference to who we see in the top few places. What I will say is, you know, we haven't seen too many thrills and spills from people on the track just yet. It's a much harder track. As we discussed earlier, the margin for error on this track is a lot less, but there's obviously some decent practice been put in by all the races this evening, because we can see that people have had a really steady race so far. So Art Boban's lost a bit of time there. So let's see if we've got any other battles. And we were going to see some small gaps between Sin and Glassy in 7th place, but we've obviously just missed that spin out from Sin there, because he was just 500th second behind Glass, and we go to him and he's in the tyre wall. So Glassy obviously has the opportunity to pull away from him now in 7th place. He's still a long way behind Trevor Humphrey in 6th, but there was obviously a decent battle going on there, which ended in Sin in the tyre wall. So unlucky there. So let's jump on board back with Bob. So Bob's got himself, as we can see, he's 8 seconds behind the race leader Evidence, so he is going to need a mistake, you fear, from Evidence this evening to catch him up. But he has got a solid 14, now 15 second lead on Mr. Salt in 3rd position. Ilium 17 seconds behind. Art Boban is catching him again. That race between those two of them is still ongoing. Let's see if we've got any tighter battles down the pack. We've got some decent gaps between people, although Boban in 4th place and Ilium in 3rd is the tightest battle we've got on our hands at the moment. Ilium's gone well wide off the track there, which surely gives Art Boban the opportunity to pull in. Let's see if Boban can capitalise on that mistake from Ilium there, but it looks like Ilium's dragged himself back on. Can you see Evidence's time penalty? It's not gone on the race feed, but there is obviously a time penalty there. We've missed it on the race feed as we've been keeping an eye on things, but will it tell us on here at all? Let's jump on board with the timings. So he's got a 1 second penalty, so at the moment that's not going to make a massive difference to the race, as he currently has a lovely 9 second lead over Bob. So just the 1 second as the race penalty so far by the looks of it, which, as we say, isn't going to make a massive difference. So thanks for asking the question, and we try and bring you all the information as and when we get it. So we're still on board with Art Boban, who's pushing really hard into the last podium slot in 3rd, which currently Ilium occupies. It's been a really solid race. There was a little mistake earlier by Ilium that we caught, but it's not made a difference. He's managed to keep himself on the straight and narrow. Although Boban is going to make a push here. He's definitely got the pace, but we know the corkscrew's coming up. He's got the inside into the first corner, so he pulls back because he knows that was a really risky manoeuvre. Fred, him... Yep, that name. Thank you for your follow this evening. No worries about being late. We've still got just over 6 minutes of the race remaining. We're just on board with the battle for third place with Art Boban in fourth. Ilium has chucked a few little mistakes into his race, but at the moment Art Boban hasn't been able to capitalise on the mistakes that have been thrown his way. So because of the mistakes that have been going on in front of him, Mr. Salt has had the opportunity to catch the people in third and fourth so far. So we're going to jump on board with Mr. Salt and just see how this race transpires. As we said, this is for the final podium position in third. You know, with the minor race penalty, Evidence has still got a solid 8-second lead on second place. Bob has got a really healthy gap from him and third place. So the real race this evening, going into the closing stages, unless there's any major incidents on the track, it is going to be the battle for third place that determines the last few places this evening. So we have got a really tidy race on our hands. We've got Ilium in third, we've got Art Boban in fourth, and we've got Mr. Salt in fifth, all pushing for the final few points. Mr. Salt has definitely made a great move there. Can he sustain this challenge into the corner? So it was a similar situation to Art Boban. It's a really difficult corner to overtake on. So we just had to apply the brakes to not cause any sort of issues on the track. But clearly he's got the pace here to push them both. So we could see in the closing stages of the race, Mr. Salt make a really sustained attack on the third podium position. He's now gone for the nice little inside manoeuvre and finds himself back in fourth place. He had the pace into that final corner, took it a lot cleaner than Art Boban. So Mr. Salt jumps himself up into fourth place there and now has the opportunity to attack Ilium in third. And let's see, we're going to jump on board with him now because I think he's definitely got a little bit of extra pace there. So he is going to attack this corner. Mr. Salt is going for it. Ilium has to pull out wide to allow the space. Mr. Salt with a solid racing line there on the inside. Can he sustain this inside position and just nip Ilium to third? But it's some great racing from Ilium so far to keep, but he has made a mistake. But Mr. Salt's binned it into the tyre wall, giving Boban and Ilium some breathing space. And Mr. Salt, that must be the last opportunity he's got to attack third position. So the race for third is down to 2 with Boban and Ilium fighting it out. We lost Mr. Salt there, who's dropped well off the pace of fourth position. So Ilium and Boban breathe a sigh of relief as Mr. Salt bins it into the tyre wall. So we're going to stay on board with Art Boban. As we said earlier, from the looks of it, first place is wrapped up, second place is wrapped up. So it's only the battle for third place where the important points matter. Obviously the top 10 races this evening do get points, but you know, the big points are up in the podium places, and there's still this really tight battle as we nearly go into the final 3 minutes of the race for third position. As we can see out in front though, we do have some back markers on the track for them to navigate. We're slowly catching up those people, so it could mean we could get some really interesting racing into the last few minutes. Let's see how we get on here. So let's see if we can see who we've got. It's got to be a Took or a Jimmy. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's definitely Took, the back marker there, who's in 12th position, who these boys are catching. So they're going to have to manoeuvre around him. Took looks like he's a bit all over the place, so it should be an easy job for them both. He's kindly pulled over. There's some great racing there from Took to recognise he's got the people racing up right behind him, and kindly pulls over there. Trevor in 5th place has gaps on 4th and 6th, so we think unless something major happens, we've got another nice pull over there, which looks like from Jimmy H. So again, these boys recognising that this race is happening and kindly pulling over. So Trevor in 5th, unless again something major happens, 5th place looks to be wrapped up, and Glassy finds himself in 6th as Art Boban makes the push just after the corkscrew. Can he get himself back in front? Let's jump on board with Ilium. He can't sustain that inside corner, and he's given up 3rd place there to Art Boban. He's got still just over a minute to go on the race. Can Ilium make an attack back to try and grab 3rd place back this evening? So we're going to stay on board with this race now, but that was a fantastic manoeuvre from Art Boban just off the back of the corkscrew, flung himself out the corner with a little bit of extra pace and took the position on Ilium. As we've said on the chat, thanks for pointing out, Ilium has had a great race this evening. Unfortunately, he did have a great race last time, but the timings on the game sent him into a spin which made him look like he was in last place. But we can see the true racing colours coming out in Ilium this evening. He's been up there for the entirety of the race, but just at the last minute, Art Boban just gets a little bit more pace around those corners and snaps up 3rd position. Let's have a look around the track and see if we've got any other close races this evening. Bob's still 7 seconds behind the race leader. Boban is a long way behind 2nd place, so we've got to assume that race for 2nd place is over. Iliam's still in 4th. Trevor is nearly 10 seconds behind Iliam in 4th. Let's jump on board with him now. So as we can see, he's got a 10-second gap into 4th position, but a really healthy 7-second lead in the 6th. Galassi showing the critics this week that he's got something in the tank and finds himself in 6th place this evening after an almost disastrous last race first time around, but is a solid 6th position for Galassi this evening. Sin finds himself in 7th place this evening, but Alpha is just behind him, so we're going to jump on board of this little race now, going into the closing stages of the race, just to see if we might get a final position change going into this last lap. But it looks like the rest of the field has sorted itself out. Let's see if Crichton Alpha can make one last push on Sin to get 1 extra place going into the final few corners of the race. Congratulations to Evidence there, who finishes the race in 1st position. Crichton is going to make one last push here. Has he got enough in the tank to get him round this last corner? I don't think he has, unless there's a mistake from Sin. So Sin holds it, and we hasn't quite got the pace going into the last lap. Although they're still racing, I would have thought that would have closed it down, but it looks like when the time completion, there it is, there's the race complete from those boys there. So well done for those boys. So Mad Knife finds himself in 9th position. Mr. Soul, as we saw earlier, he was pushing really hard for that last podium place, but just span out at the last minute, and we can see some pretty heavy damage to the car there. So he's dropped well back off the pace, which has opened the door for the rest of the competition for the championship. Jimmy down in 11th place, just racing hard into the last few corners, and Took once again bumbling his way through the final few corners with some heavy damage to the car. But it is a big congratulations to Evidence, who takes 1st position this evening. Bob Humphrey in 3rd, and Art Boban in 3rd to complete the podium positions. So there we have it. Race 2 is complete of the Noob Gamers Championship. Once the final positions have been confirmed, once all the penalties that have elapsed throughout the race have been added up, we will jump on board and interview the racers that have been involved with the hot topics this evening, to hear what they've got to say for themselves. But I think you can all agree it was another fantastic race from all the competitors we saw this evening, which has made for a really exciting stream for you all. So thank you for joining us. Hopefully you'll stay with us for the post-race reaction with the racers. And again, like last week, if there's anyone in particular you want us to go and speak with, let us know in the chat and we'll organise that for you. So well done, everyone. So there we have it, the final position. So despite the 1 penalty, and as you can see, actually, in the end with the penalty, Bob Humphrey was pushing hard and only ended up just over 3 seconds behind the pace in the end. Art Boban snapped up 3rd position at the last minute from Iliam, who finishes the race in 4th. Trevor Humphrey in 5th. Galassi in 6th, pulling out all the stops this evening. Sin in 7th. Crichton Alpha in 8th. Mad Knife in 9th. Mr. Salt in 10th. Jimmy H. Official in 11th. And Took completing the final places of the race. So there we have it. Confirmation. I think it's only fair that we bring the main man, Evidence, into the chat. The race victor this evening. Evidence, congratulations on your win this evening.
Thanks.
Well done. How did you find the race overall?
Was really the start was really intense, to be honest, because I failed in the start, and I think I lost 3 positions, maybe. I think 3.
Yep.
At the beginning, and then after that I had to overtake a bit, and I don't know what happened with Rob, because I think in my screen I overtake him really cleanly, but he said I wasn't giving him any space. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to talk with him.
I'm sure
But I think it was a control race. I had to control the 10 seconds gap I had. I was trying to race safe, just that.
Yeah, I'd say certainly we saw some great manoeuvres from you. Rob 3 in first place. He was there for a long time, but from the looks of what we saw, it was a mistake from Rob, but obviously we can try and look into that in further detail, but it was a mistake from Rob. We think he was talking about technical issues with his setup this evening, which finally actually meant he didn't even finish the race, so we'll have to try and catch up with him later. But once you got yourself in the lead, it was never in doubt, was it?
Oh, I think I had the race in my pocket. Sorry. My voice cracking now.
No worries. So yeah, I mean, once you got yourself in the first position, the gap, I mean, at one point, you know, you were 10 seconds ahead of second place. So yeah.
I think I was lucky because Bob was pushing really hard at the beginning, but he failed on the third sector, I think.
Yep.
In first lap, and that made almost all the gap I had with him during all the race, because if you see the fastest lap, we were really close.
Yeah.
And he was the fastest one in the track, so.
Yeah, fair play.
Well,
Wow.
Wasn't a race.
It was a great race. Thank you for taking part this evening and giving us that entertainment. And once again, congratulations on the win, which will put you in good stead for the next few races. So well done.
Thanks.
So there we go. The race leader evidence there. You know, he thought once he got himself in the lead, it was in his pocket, as he was quoted as saying. But as he rightly said, you know, the challenge from Rob 3 did fade off, and we will try and find out why. Let's see if he's still in the chat. It looks like he's actually gone altogether from what we've seen. So unfortunately, we're not going to get any reaction from Rob 3 there. But the main man, Bob Humph, let's bring him in. Bob,
he just sort of. Oh, hello.
Hello. How's it going?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows how I feel right now?
So is that a feeling of deflation after the race?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with second, don't get me wrong, but I think that was mine to win, really. But silly mistake on the first lap. I was outmuscled Evidence on the start.
Yep.
Put him into the fear of death. And then, I don't know, third to last corner on the first lap, I just got a bit of understeer, put it a bit wide, and just touched the gravel.
Yep.
And it sent me spinning.
Yeah, we saw that early doors. You know, you were racing hard and then just gave up those few positions, which meant you had to spend a lot of the race trying to just gain some positions.
Yeah, I got stuck behind Ilium because I don't know how he does it on a controller, but he's quick enough and he puts himself in the right places. Had a couple of good battles on my way through.
Yep.
I saw Salty let me go through.
Yes.
I had this thing where I was just flashing people just to see what they would do, and they just kept getting out of the way, so I kept doing it. But no, all in all, it's a very good race. Just a bit disappointed that I had 2 little spins, but you know, it's one less than last week, so I only do 1 next week.
Exactly. Fair play. So yeah, well done. We're just going to jump around the rest of the races, but congratulations.
Can
on
I,
your second
before you go,
yeah.
I just want to do a shout out to my main engineer, Jamie Rolfe, and my team manager, Benjamin Torode.
There we go.
They're all listening in tonight. Oh, and my other Ben as well. He's listening as well. So thanks, guys. Appreciate that.
There you go. You've given the guys a shout. I know they've been joining us this evening, so yeah, they're putting messages in the chat now, so I'm sure they'll be thankful for the shout out. And once again, congratulations on the second place.
Thanks, man.
So there we go. Bob Humph in second place this evening. As he said, that early spin nearly cost him a podium position, but he managed to fight really hard, tooth and nail, all the way through, and grab himself that second place podium position. Let's see if Art Boban is still knocking around. Yes, he is. So we're going to.
When I was chasing Gillum, almost pinned it.
So I don't think he's quite realised we've dragged him for a quick interview after his third place position. He's probably in the middle of talking to someone. But Art Boban, a third place finish for you this evening. How happy are you with that finish?
If you say where I was starting from, I would say pretty damn.
Yeah, because you were well down the pack to start with, weren't you?
I was at the 8th place, I think 7th, 8th place.
Yeah. We were watching on board with your battle with Ilium throughout. You had some really, really good battles between two of you, but just in those final few minutes, you just managed to pip him to third position with a fantastic manoeuvre after the little corkscrew bend. Did you just have a little bit more pace against him in that corner?
Yeah, I was wheeling him in, so my car was working perfectly, so this is the result for my third place and my podium.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, as soon as you got yourself in third place, the gap started opening up then, and I think you made it yours. As we can see with the final positions, you know, is a healthy 6-second gap on fourth position in the end. But you've got to say, Ilium, he gave you a really good race for a long majority of the race, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and I would like to say all congrats to him and looking forward to the next race and racing again.
Great. Well, thank you for your comments, and once again, congratulations on your third place finish, and we'll let you go and chat it through with the rest of the guys.
Thank you very much.
So there we go. There's your 3 race leaders. While we were in the middle of chatting there, thank you for the subscribe from Not Benjamin at 2010. Really appreciate the support here this evening. If there's anyone in particular that you want to hear from this evening, please drop their name in chat and we can have a little chat with them. But in the meantime, we're going to drag in Ilium into the channel.
Oh,
4th place.
Yeah.
Now,
absolutely chuffed with that.
Well, what I was going to say is actually we thought there might have been a minor bit of disappointment there just to give up third position in those final few places, but actually overall you'll be happy with your 4th place.
Overall, I'm very happy. I was surprised to be up there. It was a brilliant battle for basically the whole race with Art Boban. Yeah, it's really enjoyable. He's
certainly given the plaudits to you after we've just spoken to him this evening and said it was a really good competition between you.
I really enjoyed it. I'm not as quick as those boys, so I think the track was helping me keep him behind, but he was quicker, and in the end he made a good move, and I didn't want to push it too much because I'm happy with 4th, so I just sort of let him go. But it was a really good race.
It was really good. Yeah, we were on board for a large majority of the race, watching you two battling out, and it just seemed to go on forever. And it was just it was just going to take one little mistake or one good manoeuvre from someone.
So stressful, mate.
And
20 solid minutes of don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake.
Great to watch, though, for us. Great to watch.
Salty gets involved, comes through, and then bins it.
Yeah, I can say it was amazing for us to watch. As you said, Mr. Salt out of nowhere just starts dragging you boys in because where you two boys are battling, the pace obviously dropped off a little bit for a period of time, and Mr. Salt comes steaming through and then just loses it, which must be a big shame for him.
Yeah, I think it was. I think the general consensus in the chat is everyone had a really good race. So
yeah. I'd agree.
It's good. Was it good watching?
I think so, yeah. Some really good manoeuvres from people throughout the race. It was nice and clean from what we saw. There's a little bit of a talk, maybe Rob 3 was pushed out, and there's a little bit of a nudge there where there shouldn't have been. But
who was that with?
With Evidence earlier in racing. Yeah, so not quite sure what happened there, but Rob 3 doesn't appear to be around to have a chat with. So
he's not massively happy.
He's not massively happy, so we'll have to try and work out what's gone on there. But well done, 4th position. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, mate. Congrats to the boys at the front. They are just super fast.
Yeah, really fast. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
So there we go, 4th place, Ilium there. Let's see if we've got any shouts in the chat. Now, there's a few shouts to go and speak to. Actually, there's actually no shouts, unfortunately. That's disappointing, to be fair. I thought people might actually give him a little bit of credit this evening, but we're going to give him the credit I think he deserves.
Sit down tonight and eat it.
We're going to drag Glassy into chat with us this evening.
Oh, hello.
Glassy.
Yeah.
6th place.
Happy with that.
You've got to be absolutely delighted with that.
I am happy, but more importantly for me, you need to clear something up. Is that Abby's t-shirt you've got on? It's got to be. Come on, you've not bought that yourself.
I think she bought it for me a while ago, if I'm completely honest.
Fair, yeah. Because, I'm with you. That explains it all.
Does that explain it all, does it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for that. So nothing to do with the racing, just, just dropping the bants on me, basically.
I just needed to check out what was going on there, brother. That was all.
Yeah, but back to the racing.
Yes.
What have you got to make for this evening's encounter?
I was really happy with it. My teammate gave me a little nudge in the race, helped me kick on a little bit, which was fine. So I managed to get some damage. And like last week, where I had to pit early.
Yep.
Fought the car a little bit, but I was happy. I just kept it consistent. Knew if I could do sort of 25s, 26s in the race, I'd be there or thereabouts. So I had a few little personal battles, but I wasn't expecting 6th. Over the moon with that.
Nice, well done. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at we were looking at the places of everyone. All of a sudden, your name pops up higher than what we'd normally expect to see it. And as you said, it was just a case of keeping it consistent tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was a little bit unlucky. I know I'm not the best at this. I am working, but last week I got severe damage and had to pit straight away, which was me done.
Yeah.
But I could be competitive tonight, so I'm happy with that. So look out for more from the Glassman.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks for joining us, mate.
Cheers.
And we'll jump you back in with the rest of the boys.
Later, take it easy.
So there we go, Glassy. Now, one person we do need to speak to, he's probably not going to be very happy to speak to us, but we do have to get some reaction from Mr. Salt. Obviously, he did push towards the closing stages of the race, got himself up into 4th position, only to find himself spinning out. So we're going to call...
To get 3rd place back.
Oh, I think he's in the middle of talking to someone else. We might have interrupted him there. But, Mr. Salt, you're live on
Hello.
Twitch. How's it going?
Good, thanks.
So we're just having a quick discussion here with the people on the chat about your race experience, I guess is the best way to put it. All of a sudden, coming from the back of the pack, taking up to 4th position, and then,
Yeah, fighting for 3rd.
Yeah.
Threw it away twice. So yeah, mixed feelings, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess your low finishing place must have come down to the damage you sustained, presumably.
Yeah, damage on the last spin I did. Needed to pit, and yeah, wasn't going to do much after that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great manoeuvre to get yourself up to those podium positions. We really thought you were attacking 3rd and 4th really, really well. And we were hoping for a good 3-horse race going into the last few stages. But what was it that lost it? Was it just, a little touch of the gravel? Was it, what
I think it was, yes. So it was a different line that I'd taken to get that in position on the track. Different line, the car was off the racing line and slipped, and yeah, there wasn't much grip from where I was. So yeah.
Unfortunate though, because I said we were really hoping, people watching at home, all of a sudden this 3-horse race appeared. You just came out of nowhere and just really attacked them as soon as you caught them up. And speaking to William and speaking to Boban, they were getting really nervous that you were just going to go straight through them into 3rd place.
Well, I knew I was quicker, but then consistency comes into it, and been in the wrong place on the track. There's no grip where I was. Yeah, lost it.
Simple as that. That. Lessons to be learnt for next time around then.
Yeah, I'm sure it was good to watch, but
yes, great to watch, but not good for you. Yeah, but thank you for quickly joining us this evening, and we'll put you back in with the Racing Boys. But yeah, unlucky this evening.
Thanks. See you later.
So there we go. A little bit of reaction there from Mr. Salt, who, as we said, shot up into the final few positions where he needs to be, and then all of a sudden lost it just through a little bit of a lack of positioning, as he was calling it, a little bit of touch of the gravel, which has sent him flying in the end. So what we will do, let's see if there's anyone else we can speak to. If there's anyone else you want to hear from this evening, please let us know in the chat. Let's see who's still with us at the moment. We've got here he is. This is the man we were looking for. We just wanted to get a final reaction from this evening's encounters with the race director, Jimmy H. Official. How are you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yes. Solid at the back, which is standard practice.
Yeah.
I'll take 11th.
Take 11th. But overall, what's been the feeling in the paddock after the race?
Good enjoyment. I think there were a few little nudges. I'm not sure. Something went on between Rob and Evidence, I think, which resulted in Rob taking an early bath. Not quite sure what went on there, but I'm sure when we watch back we'll see.
Yeah.
But they're good enough, and there's no hard feelings at all. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves, and I did too. And I think there were lots of comments at the end, just thanking each other for a nice race and stuff like that. So I think that's what really matters.
Yeah, nice. I say there were some really, really good overtakes from people this evening. And as you said, on the whole, really, really clean racing, people understanding they were just about to be overtaken and actually, maybe touching on the brakes just to let someone pass, as opposed to pushing it that a little bit harder and maybe causing an accident.
Yeah, good steady race. I was at the back of the track, despite I'm a very slow driver, and I do quite like being at the back, because if there's a big old nudge and a crash at the front, I tend to be quite good at cutting my way through it a bit.
Yep.
And on that first corner, I was thinking might be a bit of a bit of a smash up here, and I could probably just sneak my way through.
Yeah.
And just get up the grid a bit early doors. Super clean through the corners. I don't know any no touches at all.
No,
and I thought,
not that we
fuck,
saw.
okay, so and then I was banking on that nasty uphill downhill chicane, and I was thinking, well, the pack will still be tight. There's going to be a nudge. Hopefully I can just make some ground up and cut through a few drivers there. Again, relatively clean. So a clean race all round doesn't play into my hands at all well because I'm nowhere near as quick as anyone else on the track. But hey, you know, good race.
Good race, all good fun, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Well, again, thanks for organising this.
You're welcome.
You know, big shout out for all the work you've done behind the scenes to get this going. Really good race 2, and hopefully going into the next week, race 3 will be just as lively as what we've seen this evening.
Yeah, we're in Monza next week, I think, with good weather, daytime, and I think I don't know that I've raced Monza yet, but it's a good, it's a fast track, I think.
Okay, so should make for some good racing then.
So that should be good, and then we'll end the season in 2 weeks' time with a bit of snow. A bit of rain next week, bit of snow next week after.
Cool, sounds good to me. Right, well, thank you for joining us this evening. We'll put you back in with the put you back to the paddock, and thanks for your time. So there we have it, everybody. Race day is over. You can see the final positions that we've got behind us now. Thank you to everyone who joined us this evening. I thought that was an incredible race. Some really, really solid overtaking manoeuvres from people throughout. Some really hot racing into the final few positions. Lots of topsy-turvy, lots of drama with people popping in and out with various spins, crashes, what we come to expect from the races here this evening. So once again, thank you for joining us at home. We've been the Noob Gamers. That was race 2 of the Noob Gamers Championships, and we'll hopefully see you again next Thursday when we take on race 3. As we alluded to earlier, this Sunday night, somewhere around 7:30, 8 p.m, we'll be joining another race championship that started up to bring you that coverage live on the Twitch channel as well. So hopefully bring you some new racers. You will see a few familiar faces that you see with us here this evening who are also taking part in those championships, but we'll also learn about some new racers and get to know some new people, so that should be a great experience if you'd like to join us again on Sunday, before again, you know, back into race 3 on Thursday. So from now on, every Sunday, every Thursday, you're going to see some fantastic racing on this channel, and hopefully you'll be there to join us. So once again, from me, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you've had a great evening with us, and we'll hope to see you again soon. See you later.